everybody, Tom Vasel here, and today we're taking a look at another shelf in the Dice Tower library. And today we're taking a look at shelf 2C. This is the middle of shelf 2. We're just going to talk about why I have these games in the Dice Tower library. So here we go. We'll start with City of Gears. This is a Gray Fox game that was originally slated to be a Dice Tower Essential, actually. Just didn't work out for various reasons. Cities of Gears is a game that hasn't got a lot of love, but has some really interesting ideas, as it's a pretty mean, in-your-face game about moving robots into a city, using special abilities to get those robots and take control of different areas. Every game of it's different. If you've never heard of this one, it's worth trying out for sure. Colony from Bezier Games is one of those dice rolling for resource games. It's honestly one of the weakest of the entire lot. Now, there are some people who highly disagree. When I posted my review of this, I definitely got some pushback on it. At the same time, I never hear about anyone playing Colony these days. But it is a really nice production, so I added it to the library because, again, I think some people might like it. Now, let's get to some games I really do enjoy. Two games here from Simon Games. The first one, Council of Four, another game that I really tried to get into the Dice Tower Essentials line because I liked it so much. The idea of just this chain reaction. The theme of this makes no sense at all, really. But you're trying to get points from appealing to different councils of four around the board. But every time you take certain actions and you build these little buildings, everything that you've already built also chains off of that. It's a really cool feature. Way of the Panda almost feels like it was made just to have some Panda miniatures in a game, and that's possibly true, but it's also really cool. Again, kind of an area control game. It's a race to get things built, so yes, the production is over the top, but I also really like it. All right, we got a couple classics here. Well, one classic. We have two classics on this shelf, but the first one here is Amun-Re. This is one of Knizia's best. It actually I don't think it's his best, actually. His two best games are probably on this shelf. But Amun-Re, another auction game. I'm not a huge auction fan, but I really like the idea of auctioning off different areas with pyramids. This is a really tight, interesting game with two very distinct halves. AuZtralia here is a game I actually have not played. I know that Z's played it and Z likes it. I think they're making an expansion for it. This semi-cooperative Cthulhu-ish, maybe zombie, I'm not actually sure the theme itself. I know you're building railroads and also fighting off zombies in Australia, a Martin Wallace game. Poseidon's Kingdoms is a game that I think is really unique and interesting. It has a dice wave. I don't know how to describe it. You'd have to watch the review for it, where you knock dice down and they fall onto a board, and where they fall and what they roll, both those things matter. It's a cool device that I wouldn't mind seeing used in another game. Now, if you want to talk about games that don't get enough love, the Boldest is on that list. Wow, I do like the Boldest. It is a game, it's kind of like rock, paper, scissors. Not rock, paper, scissors, but essentially I want to put certain cards in different areas, and we fight over them. It has amazingly cool artwork. Just a really neat game. This designer is one to keep an eye on, and the Boldest is a game that I actually played for the first time at a Dice Tower retreat, and we really enjoyed. Through the Desert, of course, that's the other game I was talking about as one of Knizia's best games. This very simple game, which has elements of Go in it, is just a fantastic, quick, easy game to play and learn, and has really cool components. Is a nice reprint of the game from Z-Man. The Pillars of the Earth, you've heard us talk about this in the Dice Tower quite a bit. Based on the book. I actually read the book, and I'm not a huge fan of the book, but I do like this game a lot. It has a pull workers from a bag mechanism, which I think is really well done. And it also has building a cathedral. There's a lot of cool things. This is a classic Euro game that's a decade old now, and yet still feels, I feel, pretty fresh. Mountains of Madness. This one is on the shelf by virtue of its box size, but it really doesn't seem to fit with everything else, because it is almost a party game. It's a cooperative game, but as you're trying to ascend this mountain, but as you do, you fall deeper and deeper into madness, having to say and do the silliest things and having bits of craziness in you. It's really funny to watch, for sure. Space Gate Odyssey is definitely another Euro that did not get a ton of love when it came out. This idea of building a space station in front of you, using the way you built the space station to take actions, and it's all about area control. It's all about dropping people down. It's a cool game with some nice components, but I do wonder about its staying power because, again, I haven't heard a lot about it. Then we have Scorpius here. This is a pickup and delivery game in a sense. You're building a spaceship. I really like the concept of this as you take different tiles and build your spaceship, and your spaceship's kind of running in a circle and dropping goods off. There's a lot of cool ideas in here. I don't think it's fantastic, but I think it's pretty solid. And this is another one that didn't seem to get a lot of love. So that's the games that are on this shelf. Of all the games, my favorite here is likely, it's either Through the Desert, Amun-Re, or Council of Four. That's a really tough call between those three. I think, man, I don't know. Maybe I'll say Through the Desert just because of how classic it is. But there you go. It's another shelf in the Dice Tower library. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.